You wake up on bare dirt. The night air is freezing. Your skin is covered in a thick layer of wood smoke, ash, and old sweat. No walls protect you from the vast, pitch-black wilderness stretching out for thousands of miles. Did you hear that sudden snap of a branch in the bushes? For 99% of human history, this was not an extreme survival challenge. This was your permanent, everyday reality for roughly 300,000 years. Today, you feel a wave of anxiety if your smartphone battery drops below 10%. You live in a temperature-controlled box with infinite calories just a button press away. If you were magically dropped into an ancient human tribe tonight, you would likely be dead before the next full moon. It is not just the apex predators or the lack of modern medicine that would finish you. Your pristine modern brain is fundamentally broken for prehistoric survival. Let us reconstruct exactly what your first 24 hours would look like. The shock begins the moment the tribe wakes up at dawn. You expect a structured schedule or a list of chores. There are no clocks, no bosses, and no layout of the day. Yet, everyone moves with a silent, synchronized purpose that you cannot read. You immediately realize that you have lost something you take for granted every single day. You have lost your privacy. In a prehistoric band of 20 to 30 people, isolation is a fatal luxury. You eat, sleep, wash, and weep in full view of everyone else. Every facial twitch you make is observed. Every sigh you exhale is cross-examined by the elders. Could you survive in a world where your inner thoughts are practically public property? Anthropologist Polly Wiesner spent decades living with and studying the campfire dynamics of the Honski people in southern Africa. Her groundbreaking research revealed a fascinating division in human communication. During the daylight hours, conversations are strictly practical, focusing on hunting strategies, economic cooperation, and resource locations. But at night, around the flickering light of the campfire, the entire social structure is born. This is where they sing, tell stories, and conduct intense social policing. The campfire is their internet, their courtroom, and their psychological anchor. If you sit in that circle, your modern social anxieties will betray you. You are used to ignoring people, putting on headphones, or retreating to a private bedroom when you are stressed. In a prehistoric tribe, pulling away from the group is viewed as a severe psychological threat. It signals that you are hiding something, hoarding something, or plotting against the collective. The tribe monitors your cooperation every second of the day. If you try to maintain your modern boundaries, you will quickly find yourself alienated from the very people keeping you alive. Then comes the midday hunt, and your physical illusions completely shatter. You might go to the gym 3 times a week, but your body is practically a ghost compared to your ancestors. Archaeological excavations at the Sundir site in modern-day Russia have uncovered human remains from 30,000 years ago. By examining the thickness and muscle attachment points on these ancient skeletons, researchers discovered something startling. These prehistoric humans possessed bone density and physical strength that would rival or exceed modern Olympic athletes. Their bodies were hyper-efficient machines forged by a lifetime of relentless physical movement. Your modern body is adapted for sitting in padded chairs and walking on flat, concrete pavements. Within 3 hours of tracking animals across uneven terrain, your ankles will swell. Your feet, unaccustomed to rough ground, will blister and bleed through your thin wraps. Your teeth will begin to ache because you are not used to chewing highly fibrous roots and tough, lean wild meat. Your stomach will painfully twist because your sterile modern gut microbiome cannot handle the natural bacteria found in wild river water. Could your pristine immune system survive a single drink from a prehistoric watering hole? As the sun reaches its peak, you encounter the absolute law of the deep past. This is the law of mandatory sharing, also known as fierce egalitarianism. Egalitarianism means a society where no single person holds power over anyone else, and everything is distributed equally. You might think that if you successfully forage a basket of wild tubers or help trap a small animal, those resources belong to you. You are completely wrong. Anthropologist Richard Lee documented this survival mechanism extensively during his mid-20th century studies of the San people. He uncovered a cultural tradition known to anthropologists as insulting the hunter. When a hunter returns to camp with a massive, life-saving kill, the tribe does not cheer. They do not throw him a feast or praise his skills. Instead, they openly mock the meat. They call it scrawny, dry, and barely worth the effort of carrying back to camp. Why do they perform this bizarre ritual? They do it to systematically crush the hunter's ego. In a high-stakes survival environment, Arrogance is a deadly poison. If a hunter believes he is superior to the group, he might try to command them, hoard food, or destroy the delicate balance of the tribe. If you tried to save an extra handful of berries for yourself, or if you showed even a hint of pride in your work, the social blowback would be instantaneous. You would be subjected to brutal, relentless mockery. If you continued to resist, the tribe would simply walk away from you. In the prehistoric world, banishment was a death sentence wrapped in silence. This brings us to the ultimate counterintuitive twist of ancient life. You probably imagine that our ancestors lived lives of constant, agonizing labor, working from dawn until dusk just to stay ahead of starvation. For a long time, the modern world believed this exact myth. But Richard Lee's empirical data completely turned this assumption upside down. He discovered that traditional hunter-gatherers spent an average of only 15 to 20 hours per week securing all their food and materials. That is less than half the time of a standard modern workweek. The rest of their time was spent resting, gossiping, playing games, and reinforcing their social bonds. They enjoyed more genuine leisure time than almost any worker in the modern corporate world. But do not mistake this leisure time for relaxation. This downtime was actually an intense psychological workspace. Because they had no laws, no police, and no written contracts, their entire survival net depended on the strength of their personal relationships. They spent hours talking through conflicts, smoothing over jealousies, and ensuring that every single member of the group felt valued. A modern human, raised in an individualistic culture, would find this constant emotional maintenance utterly exhausting. You are used to buying goods with money and leaving your coworkers at the office. In the tribe, your survival is currency, and your coworkers are your family for life. Furthermore, your brain lacks the hyper-attuned sensory map required to navigate the wilderness. To you, a forest is a wall of green leaves and pleasant ambient noise. To an ancient human, that same forest is a highly detailed, rapidly changing book. They recognize the specific alarm call of a bird indicating a leopard is nearby. They can read the subtle indentation in a broken blade of grass to tell you exactly how many hours ago an antelope passed by. Anthropologist James Sussman has written extensively about how ancient humans possessed an almost supernatural understanding of their ecosystems. This was not instinct, it was the result of thousands of generations of accumulated knowledge passed down through oral storytelling around those night fires. You lack this data library. You do not know which mushrooms will heal your stomach and which ones will liquefy your liver. You do not know how to read the clouds to predict a flash flood. Without the tribe translating the environment for you, the landscape itself becomes an executioner. When night falls again, the psychological trap clenches tightly around you. The deep indigo sky fills with an overwhelming sea of stars, completely unpolluted by artificial light. The shadows beyond the fire seem to press inward. You realize that you cannot simply turn off your mind or retreat into your own world. The sounds of the wilderness are deafening. The snaps, growls, and rustles of the night keep your nervous system in a state of high alarm. Your ancestors slept soundly through this because their brains were calibrated to the rhythms of nature. Your brain, wired for artificial lighting and quiet indoor spaces, will remain trapped in a loop of panic. Consider the profound irony of your modern existence. You live in an era of unprecedented comfort. Yet human beings are lonelier than they have ever been. You lock your doors, build high fences, and look at your glowing screens to escape the pressure of other people. You celebrate your total independence from your neighbors. But this independence is a bizarre historical anomaly. Your biological body still expects the warmth of the campfire. Your brain still expects the intense, watchful gaze of a small community. Your DNA still panics when you are truly isolated from the group. You spend your entire modern life trying to escape the crowd. Yet your ancient soul deeply fears being left behind. You think you would struggle in the past because of the cold or the predators. But the real reason you wouldn't last a day in a prehistoric tribe is that you have forgotten how to belong completely to other people. So, the next time you turn off your bedroom light and settle into your bed, remember the cold, bare dirt. The darkness outside hasn't changed at all. You have. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please subscribe to help the channel grow. Rest assured, this content is entirely human-crafted, curated from books, peer-reviewed articles, and verified sources. Spot any missing details? Let's discuss it in the comments. Hello and see you in the next video.